And welcome to another show. Well, let me ask you a question. Are you a recycler or wish cycler? Put it this way. Should I? Shouldn't I? If you're asking yourself these questions as you toss something into your recycling bin, you might be an aspirational recycler. This happens when you aren't quite sure if something is recyclable, yet you still place that item in your recycling container, hoping that it will be recycled or reused. So, wish cycling. It's detrimental though because it puts a lot of items in the recycling stream that do not belong there. It can contaminate perfectly good recyclables and damage the equipment in recycling facilities. So Jeremy Walters, he is my guest, and he's a sustainability ambassador for Republic Services. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me on.
You're most welcome. Interesting topic amongst all the misery at the moment. So aspirational recyclers generally have good intentions. However, knowing the basic rules of recycling can ensure those good intentions don't go to waste. Jeremy, what are the do's and don'ts?
So keeping it simple is the most important. Know what to throw. Stick to things like cardboard, paper, metal cans, and plastic bottles and jugs. Anything aside from that does not belong in your recycling bin. Number two, very important, is that you practice what we call empty, clean, and dry. So if you've got those metal soup cans or bottles of soda, you do have to rinse them out. You can't simply just finish the contents and then toss it in the recycling bin. You know, if you had a can of tomato soup, if you don't rinse it out and that can of soup gets jumbled around with the paper and cardboard, inevitably it's going to spill a little bit of that residual material onto the paper and the cardboard, and then we have to throw it away. Once that stuff is soiled, we have to toss it. So just turn on the tap real quick, swirl some water around, tap it dry before you place it in the recycling bin. And then lastly, definitely not least, is keep it loose. You never want to bag your recyclables. We sort through one thing at a time at the recycling center, but beyond that, the plastic bags that people place their recyclables in create a unique set of challenges when it comes to the sorting equipment. They actually wrap and tangle around the equipment that we utilize to sort the good recyclables.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm one of the good ones from a point of view of always washing or rinsing out. You know, if I open a can of tuna up or something, I'll always, after I've emptied the container, I'll always wash it first before I put it in, you know, the recyclable. So I guess I'm a good boy from that point of view. But a lot of people don't.
Yes, you are.
You know. Well, Republic Services, they're an industry leader in the U.S. recycling and non-hazardous solid waste disposal industry. Jeremy, what are the signs really of an aspirational recycler? I mean, what are some common items that wrongfully end up in the recycling bin? Maybe people just don't know.
And again, I think it's with good intentions. What we often see that doesn't belong, that could be attributed to that wish cycling, is items that were suited for reuse. Maybe they outgrew them, but someone else could have enjoyed them or gotten some use out of them. So think of things like clothes, shoes, toys, tools, sporting equipment. I mean, I can't tell you how many basketballs, bowling balls, soccer balls, things like that we see come through the recycling center. And it requires somebody to take those and donate them to a charity or a secondhand store. That's where they're going to find a second life. But as soon as you place it in the recycling bin, it becomes trash.
Well, I think a lot of the problem maybe too is that people just generally have a garbage disposable bag, you know, underneath the sink or wherever it is, you know, designated in their kitchen. And everything goes in. They open a can or they open a package. Everything just goes into that. In my house, I have a recyclable extra box, and it's easy to put the food stuff into that bag, but put the recyclables into the box. I mean, do you think if more people did that, it would help?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a small habit change. You know, me personally, me and my wife, we have a wicker basket that we keep in the bottom of our pantry. And so when we, open up a can of something and once we rinse it out, we take that can, toss it in a wicker basket, and then we still have our regular trash can for the things that can't be recycled. So having the delineation between the two will certainly improve the recycling.
Well, you have a bachelor's degree in environmental studies with a minor, I believe, in solar and renewable energy. How did you get into this business, if you don't mind sharing?
It's a interesting story. I've worked in a few different industries, but the common theme between them all is that they impacted the natural world around us in some form or fashion. Growing up, I've always had an interest in nature and making sure we have a happy, healthy planet. And so when the opportunity arose at Republic to get involved with recycling, it was absolutely natural fit.
That's good. That's good. Great for the planet, my friend. When you see these, stories now and documentaries done on the waste at sea and what it's doing to the poor fish and heavens above, the planet has so much rubbish and left and on beaches and river streams. I mean, if the right stuff was put in the right places, it would help everybody, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And, recycling is a big part of the overarching goal of sustainability. If you're really in tune with trying to be impactful towards the environment in a positive way, think about how you can make all, sustainable switches, things that you can reuse, things that you can reduce, right? Instead of collecting recyclables in a trash bag, you collect them in the wicker basket. So you're reducing the amount of waste that you create in general.
Well, old clothing, and people do get confused, I think, with recycle and reuse. I mean, some things are obvious on the reuse, old clothing, tools, maybe appliances. They can, in a lot of cases, have a new life, but not if you put them in the recycling container, right? That's just, it's a hazard, big hazard. So you've got a site that people can actually go to, correct?
Yes, we do. It's called recyclingsimplified.com, and it's a very user-friendly website for all age groups, and it teaches you the fundamentals of recycling, both from what to throw in to how to throw it in, and it's designed to give people perspective no matter where they live in the country. So whether you're down there in Arizona, either live there or visiting, if you're visiting and you go back, let's say to the East Coast, the same recycling tips apply.
That's very good. That's www.recyclingsimplified.com, all one word. Now, in your role as the Sustainability Ambassador for Republic Services, you have to develop and execute recycling education programs. Does that include schools or universities? What do you do there?
Yes, it definitely does. And on the Recycling Simplified website, we have K through 12 nationally approved recycling curriculum. So if there's any educators out there listening, they can head over to Recycling Simplified, click on the Educators tab, find their grade level, and actually download free comprehensive lesson plans to teach some of these topics in school. Beyond that, there's a myriad of educational approaches that we take depending on all sorts of demographics that we're working with.
Well, so when in doubt, throw it out. Yeah, you recycle more than cardboard, paper, metal cans, and plastic. Keep it simple is the message. Focus on items like water bottles, milk jugs, aluminum cans. And you know why we say that in my country, Jeremy? It's aluminium. And clean.
Are you Australia, huh?
You got it. And dry paper and cardboard. I mean, it's not that hard, but it could make a hell of a difference to the planet, right?
It certainly can. And, the overcomplication comes from well-intentioned folks just wanting to do as much as they can.
Right. Well, that's fabulous, mate. And, it's got a nice funny side to it all, but it's very serious side in another way, and it just helps our overall health and cleanliness and so on. So that's great. Now, folks, www. All one word now, Recycling Simplified, right? RecyclingSimplified.com. And there's everything on there. It's been a pleasure, Jeremy. Thanks for the work that you do. Keep it up, mate.
Thank you very much.
Jeremy Walters, ladies and gentlemen, the Sustainability Ambassador. I bet you've never heard of that title before. And that's for Republic Services. You heard it here on The Mark Bishop Show.